Hi everyone, I'm Sandy. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. I have a little bit of a different video for you today because I find myself in a different kind of position. Normally I have so many books like stacked up and scheduled that it doesn't give me a huge amount of freedom to kind of pick other things. And this week, for whatever, or this weekend really, for whatever reason, the only book I have scheduled to read is Cloud Cuckoo Land, which I really kind of just want to take my time with and not like rush my way through, which means I have some time to pick up a new book and trying to figure out what I want to read. I have a stack of books that have kind of been sitting up on this shelf up here as to be read fairly soon kind of books. My hair is a mess. What is wrong with my hair? Don't try and do your hair in a camera mirror or camera because it doesn't work. Okay, but I have this stack of, my brain's not working. I have a stack of books that I've had up here that are kind of ones that I have wanted to pick up really recently, or they were a part of the BookTube Spin number 5, and I have a lot of time this weekend to read, and what I thought I would do is actually try reading, this is the stack by the way of books, try reading the first paragraph or so of each of these books and see which one really appeals to me and which one I want to pick up. Maybe I'll do some vloggy type stuff. Maybe. I don't love doing vlogs. Maybe I'll just come back at the end and summarize the book that I ended up reading. But yeah, I'm really excited. So let's see what these books bring to me. The first one is Wind, Sand, and Stars by Antoine de Saint-Exupery. This book I had picked up looking for books about the outdoors. This one has come up multiple times. It also is in the Goldfinch. So let's go ahead and read the first little bit. It says, in 1928, I was enrolled as student airline pilot by the Lat Company, the predecessors of Aéropostale, now Air France, in the operation of the line between Toulouse in southwestern France and Dakar in French West Africa. I was learning the craft, undergoing an apprenticeship served by all young pilots before they were allowed to carry the mails. We took ships up on trial spins, made meek little hops between Toulouse and Perpignan, and had dreary lessons in meteorology in a freezing hangar. We lived in fear of the mountains of Spain over which we had yet to fly, and in awe of our elders. Interesting. Let's see if another one captures my attention a little bit more, but that's the first book. The second book is Into the Wild by Jon Krakauer. I've wanted to read this book forever, and let's see what the first chapter of this one, says. Okay. So it says, Jim Gallion had driven 4 miles out of Fairbanks when he spotted the hitchhiker standing in the snow beside the road. Thumb raised high, shivering in the gray Alaska dawn. He didn't appear to be very old, 18, maybe 19 at most. A rifle protruded from the young man's backpack, but he looked friendly enough. A hitchhiker with a Remington semi-automatic isn't the sort of thing that gives motorists pause in the 49th state. Gallion steered his truck onto the shoulder and told the kid to climb in. Okay, maybe. That one interests me more than this one, so we'll put this one aside and say that this one right now. We'll see where we go after that. So the next book, and I will change the title just so I don't offend anyone, but it is Welcome to the Ice Cube by Blair Braverman, which is a story about, I believe, her running the Iditarod, or definitely up in Alaska. So this one, if I look in here, in the prologue, it said, I'm sick, said Martin. He sat hunched in a folding chair before the bonfire. It was St. Hans night, midsummer, and the sun hung small and orange over the northern horizon like a sullen child, not quite willing to leave the room. Across the fjord, a line of tiny fires flickered between the water and the hills. I'm sorry to hear that, I said. Martin pushed himself up and came to stand before me. Did they tell you, he said. I bet they didn't tell you. Didn't want to scare you away. A nice little Pia like yourself. You don't even know what it's like. I'm going to die soon. If God had a heart, I'm going to die soon. Interesting. Interesting. I'm not sure that it captured my attention more than Into the Wild. I just read A Winter Dance, which is part of why I wanted to read this one as well. But we'll keep these two kind of there right now. Into the Wild is slightly ahead. So the next one is Heavy by Kiese Laymon. So this one, the first, it's called Ben. I did not want to write you. I wanted to write a lie. I did not want to write honestly about black lies, black thighs, black loves, black laughs, black foods, black addictions, black stretch marks, black dollars, black words, black abuses, black blues, black belly buttons, black wins, black bends, black bends, black consent, black parents, or black children. I did not want to write about us. I wanted to write an American memoir. I wanted to write a lie. Ooh. Ooh. I think this one is in the lead now. I think this one's in the lead. Okay, I'm going to say that heavy is in the lead because that first section, yeah, I think it's going to pass these two. Okay, so we're heavy so far. The next one is called the F It Diet. Eating should be easy. So this one, it says, 1, why are we so addicted to food? Do me a favor and imagine that you are in a real life famine. You have access to very little food. Just imagine what would happen. Immediately, everything in your life would become about food. Everything in your body would be telling you both to ration what you have and to eat a lot the first chance you find enough food. You would be constantly looking for more food. You'd maybe start searching for crops that weren't destroyed. You'd hunt rabbits, you'd forage, and you would quickly become very resourceful with the food you did find. Interesting. I'm not sure if this is the book I'm ready for this weekend as a fast read. It's not too big, but that one, yeah, I'm going to go with probably not yet. And then the next one is part of the BookTube Spin number 5. It was one of the winners, which is Under the Sea Wind by Rachel Carson. So this one starts, let me get to the beginning. This one starts with a foreword. Under the Sea Wind was written to make the sea and its life as vivid a reality for those who may read the book as it has become for me during the past decade. It was written, moreover, out of the deep conviction that the life of the sea is worth knowing. To stand at the edge of the sea, to sense the ebb and the flow of the tides, to feel the breath of a mist moving over a great salt marsh, to watch the flight of shorebirds that have swept up and down the surf lines of the continents for untold thousands of years. To see the running of old eels and the young shad to the sea is to have knowledge of the things that are nearly eternal as any earthly life can be. Definitely interesting, but I don't know that it's pulled me in more than heavy. Close. I'll keep them both out, but yeah, these two are in the running. Okay, so the next one is the other book that I had for BookTube Spin number 5, which is Shatter Me. And this one says, I've been locked up for 264 days. I have nothing but a small notebook and a broken pen and the numbers in my head to keep me company. One window, 4 walls, 144 square feet of space, 26 letters and an alphabet I haven't spoken in 264 days of isolation. 6.336 hours since I've touched another human being. You're getting a cellmate scratched out roommate. They said to me, we hope you rot to death in this place. Oh, okay. And then it says, for good behavior, they said to me. Another cycle like you scratched out. No more isolation, they said to me. Yeah, so I like it, but that concept of things being scratched out, if that continues, like maybe that doesn't continue. It does continue throughout parts of the book. So yeah, I think that particular mechanism I'm not super interested in, though that I think this will be a series that I actually will like at least the first book of, but that construct sounds a little bit like one I would find distracting. Okay, so not to that one. And the last book is a nonfiction book, which is really for the Reading Africa Challenge, which is Cleopatra by Stacy Schiff. I would like to read this month, but we'll see how I do. The first line of this, or the first section of this, says, among the most famous women to have lived, Cleopatra VII ruled Egypt for 22 years. She lost a kingdom once, regained it, nearly lost it again, amassed an empire, lost it all. A gold goddess as a child, a queen at 18, a celebrity soon thereafter, she was an object of speculation and veneration, gossip and legend, even in her own time. At the height of her power, she controlled virtually the entire eastern Mediterranean coast, the last great kingdom of any Egyptian ruler. For a fleeting moment, she held the fate of the Western world in her hands. She had a child with a married man, 3 more with another, died at 39, a generation before the birth of Christ. Catastrophe reliably cements a reputation, and Cleopatra's end was sudden and sensational. She has lodged herself in our imaginations ever since. Wow, I mean, that's pretty compelling. So, all right, so these are the three that are right at the top. Do I want to read this? And they're all nonfiction. How weird. Okay, so do I want to read about Cleopatra? Do I want to read about... Okay, so I'm going to say no to Under the Sea Wind right now. Just because. I'm going to limit it down to 3. So do I want to read about Cleopatra, or do I want to read a memoir? You know what? I thought that this first paragraph was so exceptionally moving. I'm going to read Heavy by Kiese, Laymon, an American memoir, and can't wait to come back and tell you what I thought of it. All right, I will check back in. All right, it is now Monday, and I have finished reading the book. Book is Heavy by Kiese, Laymon. I think I was saying the name wrong before, of Kiese, and I believe it's pronounced Kiese. So yeah, my fun little read a paragraph experiment turned into a very heavy book. This book is appropriately titled, and I wasn't quite expecting this. I was expecting this to be a novel about the body and about weight, and not some of the other aspects of it. So Heavy is an American memoir written by Kiese, Laymon in, I believe, 2018. And the book reads kind of like, almost like he's writing it to his mother. At times it feels like he's talking directly to someone like me. At times it feels like he's talking to his mom, but it is told very much in that format. And it documents his time growing up in middle school, in high school, and college, and as a professional, and what it was like to grow up as a person of color in Mississippi. And it was very impactful and powerful. The aspect of it that I thought was amazing, and that is part of the reason why I love reading so much, is it gives you the ability to step into someone else's shoes, if only for a brief moment, which is what this book did. It was very heavy on race and race relations and the Black community, and a lot of things that I did not have necessarily a lot of background in and hadn't read a lot about. So from that perspective, it was really powerful and moving and difficult. So that's kind of like that part of it. There are themes of addiction, both multiple kinds of addiction in here. Child abuse, you could definitely be one of those. Just a lot of kind of trigger warnings maybe in this particular book. The aspect that I can talk about is actually a difficult one for me to talk about, which is in regards to the aspects of weight that did show up in this book. And there were at least 4 different moments in the book where I personally had a similar type of experience that Kiese was doing in this novel, and so, or in this memoir. The first had to do with, at a young age, trying to figure out if what you weighed was okay for someone that age. And the book, it's really heartbreaking, the scene. For me personally, I've always struggled with weight. And I have definite memories of wondering if that's okay that I weigh a certain thing at the age of 15. So that was one. Another one was in the form of a coach, and what the coach had done to Kiese in the novel was a very public thing. Mine was more private, where they wrote me a letter saying something about my weight, just things like that in this book that hit so close to home. And then the obsessive compulsive behaviors that Kiese has in regards to weight in this book are things that I struggle with a lot. So specifically around weighing yourself too much. The idea that I'm going to get up in the morning and weigh, and then I'm going to go to the gym, and I'm going to come home, and I'm going to weigh myself at night, and I'm going to weigh myself in the middle of the day to see kind of where things are at, to know, okay, am I on track or not? Which is, thankfully, I haven't been that obsessively compulsive about the scale for a while, but it is something that I have struggled with. So that was another one. The extremes you can go to when you're trying to lose weight are in this. The effect that it had on his body, the effects I've seen on others that I know as far as trying to do drastic and immediate weight loss. Just all of those different things are in this book. And it is one that for someone like me, it hit, like I said, very, very close to home, because I've always been heavier. And even when I was younger, I was heavier than the girls in my class. And so for an adult, there are a lot of things that I recognize that of some bad behaviors I also have that were in this book. So yeah, my fun read a paragraph idea turned into, a very deeply impactful read. It's not a book I would necessarily recommend for everyone. It's part of what I wanted to do this year, is read more about the body. I had read Everybody and wanted to read some other books. And so this is one of the books that I had picked up recently, and it just happened to be the one that appealed to me when I did my read a paragraph. But yeah, if you're interested in this type of memoir, just know it's got a lot of, like I said, race relations. It's not all about the body. It's about a lot more than that. And I think it's a great memoir. I think it's very impactful and very moving. I think it's very difficult. I'm trying to figure out who I would even recommend it to, but if you're interested in this type of a read, I would definitely say pick this one up. But no, it has some really difficult content in it. But that was my try a paragraph. Was it successful? I mean, it was successful in the fact that this book was amazing, even though it was really hard, and it brought up a lot of really old personal feelings about things that happened to me when I was younger. But it was a really great read. It just, it has the name Heavy as the title for a very good reason. So just go into it knowing that. But that was my try a paragraph. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, everyone, thanks. Bye.